This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives and Soul Agreements. 3 audio CD series, metaphysical meditations, sourcing series, and sleep programming. Tara has also collaborated with Emmy Award-winning Shane Stanley and Marla Maples on numerous DVDs. Tara Sutphen is a master in the psychic sciences. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. You're listening to Tara Sutphen. And my guest today is Jason D. McKean. And he's also known as the Om Dog. And you've heard his voice on Om chants, on albums and meditations. He's sold over 1 million copies worldwide. His albums include Om Sanctuary, 108 Sacred Ohms, Om Eternity, Om Serenity, Eternal Om Indigenous, Om Beats, and a whole line of meditations to achieve the life that you dream. Anyway, welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having me this morning, Tara. I enjoy talking to you. We've known each other for how many years now?
Our whole lives.
Our whole lives.
we are siblings.
And I think you did cover like the whole spectrum of album titles. My goal is to take over like just every Om, you name it. I do have a new one that that a client friend had suggested, and that's the Om Shiva Shakti Namaha chant album. It's a half-hour chant where I'm just chanting the Om Shiva Shakti Namaha, and
much. I love it. It's one of my very, very favorites. I mean,
and I repeat it.
I love that
108 times. It goes the 108 cycles, which is a very sacred number. And it's the Shiva energy is like consciousness, right? The Shakti is energy. You could also view it as kind of like the masculine and the divine feminine. It's just that blending of the two. It's like we need both of these energies within us. We need to cultivate them within us so that we are effective in the world, that we can operate in the world. We can be both physical and spiritual at the same time.
Yes, that saying is a kirtan, which is a Sanskrit kirtan, and they are 6,000 years old, approximately,
Yeah, only.
They're way,
only 6,000.
Only Sanskrit from 6,000 years old. And so, yeah, I always, the kids, my 3 kids, they always used to give me a hard time because whenever I would get in my car, I listened to a lot of rock and roll too, but when I would get in my car, I would listen to Krishna Das, and it would be Om Namah Shivaya, and so because I believed that it was a nice prayer to clear my way when I need to go forward. I listened to that. So,
especially when you're driving too.
Yeah. It's clearing your way. Yeah. Clear your way in life. And so it was just like forward movement. And I believe in a lot of intention. As Jason knows, my whole life is all about intention and creation. And so when you're creating your own reality, you create this intention every moment of your life. Not to say that you don't have negative moments and you don't have problems, because of course that's for everyone. but that if you just take a moment, it only takes a moment to do things where you're creating some kind of intention. So I think it's really wonderful, Jason, that you did the 108 sacred. What is it? Om Shakti, though. Namah Shivaya, right?
It's called Om Shiva Shakti Namaha.
Namaha. Okay.
And did your kids, did they resist when you would play the Om Namah Shivaya? You know, because they wanted to hear like rock and roll, right? When they're in the car.
Well, yeah, or they wanted to hip hop or whatever else, whatever they were into at that moment.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, no, they always give me a hard time. But, you know, now as they've gotten older, they don't give me such a hard time. They actually listen to it too. Like, Mom, will you put that on? Whereas, you know, they're into it now. But
yeah, give me some
younger,
of that energy there.
Yeah, but when they were, you know, when they were younger, it was like, oh gosh, Mom and her music, you know, oh Mom. But, you know, then I have the teens. And so, you know, my kids, when they were teenagers, they were little older teenagers. And you know, it was always so funny because parents, like fathers especially, would ask me, you know, like you know, like what is the teen class about? And, you know, they would be very puzzled. Since it was a psychic teen class, it's one of the only ones in the entire world where I would teach teens how to be psychic. And really, you know, these teens that I've taught to be self-actualized and psychic, they are the most amazing people on the planet, I swear. So the thing is that I would do a lot with them as far as, I really love, Tarita, Nada has a album that is, the didgeridoo with the, Eastern gurus who are the Siddha gurus. And, in southern India. And it was really fun. They would meditate to that. You know, every once in a while we put that on. And so, you know, my kids got to where there was competition with you know, these teenagers liking everything that I put on and really enjoying whatever I was into. And so, you know, my teenagers kind of got into the groove of, oh, well, you know, everybody else likes our mom. You know, we like our mom too. Instead of kind of going away from me, they all came towards me more.
They had to fight for you.
Yeah, they have to fight for me. Yeah, yeah. So, and I think that was yeah. I just try not to do too much of that because I have all that everywhere. It's pretty cute, but yeah, always having a lot of fun with my groups. You know, as Jason knows, I'm in Alaska now. And I'm with
I do know that. How is Alaska?
It's been so hot. It's been like, what the heck is going on?
Not my experience of Alaska.
No.
It's so hot.
I can't wait for it to cool down. It looks like outside that's a little more cool down. I'm going to go out to the dock out at the lake here in a little bit and meditate. But, yeah, it's just been, 81 in the car when I get in.
What?
It's like, I know it's not the Alaska we used to know.
You know, when I grew up there in my teen years, oh my God, I think I prayed for a day that would like, I mean, that was just unheard of.
Just one out of the summer.
Days.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, you just wanted one. Just please.
Yeah,
just so I guess the sun was really warm. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, you never tried to get a tan and nothing like that. And now you have to, you know, like everybody in their car, you know how everybody carries sunblock in California. Everybody carries a little off or something here. Although, you know, I haven't been bit by any mosquitoes. There's, you know, I mean, it's really just kind of pristine perfect. It's very pristine perfect. The flowers are so vibrant. Since the sunshine is, you know, the sun isn't going down until 11 something at night. So the raspberries, God, we're picking so many raspberries. Like I take a hour in the morning just to make sure that I'm cultivating raspberries. And, who I'm staying with, my first mother-in-law I'm staying with, who I absolutely adore. And, she made jam last night. And so it was just like so cute, she's
She made jam
adorable.
out of the raspberries.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so fantastic.
Yeah. So we're having a lot of fun. And then I'm up here, with my tribal council, and, I'm president of Awakening Spiritual Unity, which is an Alaska Native, a nonprofit corporation, and we're doing a lot of meetings, and the elders are meeting, and we're going forward on all sorts of curriculums and agendas, and it's great. It's really, really wonderful. And so we're going to have a psychic night next Tuesday, where people can come in and they can just donate to ASU, but we're just going to kind of have a bit of an open house at one of the centers.
With a psychic night, do you have like a half hour session there of putting people into a relaxed state and opening up their own psychic channels, or what?
Yeah, I'll just do a little bit of, that, because it's only from 6 to 8, so it's not like it's a big long. There'll be a lot of talking and socializing, I'm sure. So, but everybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome to come in. Who's living in Anchorage? I'm sure that everybody from the lower 48 aren't coming in, but it's just a tad far. Just 2,000 miles away from Seattle. Not far.
I'm always impressed by how you're able to, with like your first mother-in-law. You've been friends from like day one, but you haven't been married to her son for almost as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
For like quite a long time. But your ability to keep the relationship alive and healthy and all, it's like that's really so great of you to be able to basically keep your friends. Yeah, I know you love your friends, and
I do. It's that's a really interesting, Jace, because, we've been on a journey the last few years, both Jason and I, of certain people kind of being so odd. And, I really don't throw away people or throw away my friends. I absolutely adore the, people on the planet, and, the people I have personal karma with. I came into her life when I was a teenager, and she's always been one of my soulmate friends. I just absolutely adore her, and she gave me a lot of mothering skills and a lot of friendship skills, and just she's she's just a vibrancy of light that I adore.
Right.
And and her son died many, many years ago. I mean, way long ago. And my oldest son didn't grow up with a father. And so, so it's interesting. It's been interesting, the whole dynamic over the years, as far as we've just kept, we always were close. And the few real sweet girlfriends I have, and everybody that I associate with, I really adore my life. I adore my life. I do. And I know, Jason, that you do the same thing. You never really throw away anyone anyway, either. We have childhood friends and happiness.
Yeah, I'm in contact with one of my very first friends. We lived next to each other in Fremont, and it's like his mother was my first piano teacher, and it's like so we met him at like 2-3 years old.
Yeah.
Still talk on Facebook and all. That's the beauty of Facebook. I love it for that reason of just like being able to.
One of my horseback riding buddies.
Stay in touch.
Yeah, one of my horseback riding buddies from high school just friended me right before our show. And it was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just Lizzie. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was so exciting. So exciting.
So in Alaska, here I am asking you questions.
Yeah.
But since you're there in Alaska, are you able to find like kind of like you're having a new adventure up there? Like, are you tapping into anything that feels like it's this new adventure where you feel your own spirit like growing?
Well, I think that, through the years of this group that I've been involved with, it's like the Arctic calls my name. As Jason knows, I worked on the Alaska pipeline when I was a teenager, and I worked above Pump Station 1 in Prudhoe Bay. And for British Petroleum, I was a subcontractor of them. Mm-hmm. And so it's so interesting that I just almost can't get away from that. But yet I went outside, what they call outside, to establish my life in the lower 48. And now I come back with all these tools to our uncle was the governor of Alaska twice and the Secretary of the Interior. Mm-hmm. To actually President Nixon, and that was a very interesting thing that happened because, when really bad things happen to someone, I have to say this because it's a real interesting analogy of someone's life. Mm-hmm. Our uncle, he was Secretary of the Interior, and he criticized President Nixon for how he handled the Kent State shootings. And he had written a letter and said, that he thought that he could have handled it a little differently. And he got fired. He was fired. Mm-hmm. And he, the rejection of something like that on that level must have been crushing. I mean, really crushing to his career. And he probably, your head would spin. So he came back to Alaska and that was the best gift that ever happened to him. And yet, when we go through these terrible things, we don't realize that sometimes we are being saved. Mm-hmm. And we must realize it. We must awaken to the journey of our life. Now, he was being so saved that Watergate happened. Well, guess my uncle was nowhere in sight.
That's true. Yeah. Because everyone who was associated pretty much, either went to jail or whatever. So anyway, our uncle was Walter Hickel.
Yeah, Walter J. Hickel. Yeah. So it was just like, oh my gosh, I mean, there's such a silver lining in sometimes things that happen, and we just have to trust our lives that we've asked for the very best, and I create a lot of intentions with my clients and with, in all our meditations, Jason, we try to create an intention with you that's going to step you forward into your life. And that's why, Jason, it's been so much fun to watch as he's now the Om Dog Wizard, and he's going around to all sorts of festivals and parties and works in different stores and does a lot of personal readings, and he has his own radio show, and he's, has all these amazing albums, and he has sold 1 million copies of Om. His voice is out there. It's out there. So it's really exciting. Do an Om for us, Jace.
Uh-oh, put on the spot. All right.
Thank you,
I just got, speaking of the tarot and all, it's like, I was asked to read at a charity upcoming on Sunday. It's going to be at Muddy Paws Coffee there in Hollywood. There's going to be some other celebrity psychics, Patty Negri and some Reiki healers, and just it's going to be a chance for people to, donate and off to a rescue organization for kittens. And,
for kittens, how
yeah,
cute.
yeah, it'll be kind of like they're in the middle of Hollywood. And, it was nice. Our friend, Jackie Jordan.
Oh yeah.
She suggested me to the organizer of the event. And so that'll be Sunday there from like noon to 6 or so in Hollywood. I'm going to post it on my Facebook.
Okay. So when is it?
Sunday, the 24th.
Okay.
From noon to 6 at Muddy Paws Coffee.
All right.
Like
Nice.
MUDYPAWS Coffee.
Do they do a lot of charities for animals?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I was just,
you'll know afterwards.
It's out of the blue. It's just like, when one steps into their work, when one just moves forward, you give voice to who you are in the world, and opportunity will find you. It's how the universe can work, and support you. It's like, but you have to be willing to put that voice out there of who you are, what it is that you do, and the universe can then like say, hey, I have a position for you to fill here. So it's I love that aspect of energy, of this work that we do too, because it's there is a lot of pain and suffering that people go through, that we look to help guide them through it, so that they are able to move through it, not get stuck in it, not get bogged down in their own. Sometimes it's they lack the overall view of themselves and all of their potential to rise up and express their best self, rather than just kind of like looking at their lack and dwelling on that which they feel that they're lacking in their life. And so it's like, we're able to just willingly put ourselves in that place of being a guide. And it's very rewarding work. I know that you know this, where
oh yes,
it's just it's beautiful work.
Yeah, I'm hugely fulfilled in my work, and I know Jason is really getting to that place too. It's just so fulfilling. You help move people into their best, and the vibrancy. You just have to work at it every day. That you're creating your own reality on this planet, so you really have to step into it. And it takes a lot of work. We all know this. And the older we get, I think that we keep on doing it. But, when things are right. I came here to Alaska. I have people offering me cars, and I have so many places to stay. And, and people just like are so amazing, as far as like, I don't even have to ask, people offer. Mm-hmm. And that's when you're going in the right direction, that it's so easy.
Yeah.
There's an easiness. I never thought I was going to be like president of a nonprofit corporation, in Alaska, back in Alaska. But it's a really easy fit for me, as being corporate America for so long, with working and doing corporate things for so many years. And because I know that I'm a creative person as well, but there takes work behind all that to make it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, and your willingness to step into that role too, as like fronting, being a a president that's like kind of like being the main focal point, or someone who has vision, right? And
Yes.
and then looks to see that vision is implemented there. And it's like you're doing the work. You're like doing the not only having the vision, but you're there with everyone. You're kind of having workshops up there. Is that what I understand?
Yeah. Yes, and all our elders. Oh yeah, and hypnosis certifications and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great. So our the elders are doctors and nurses and health professionals, counselors. That's my board, and the very accomplished people in their own right. My vice president, she is an elder in Alaska and in Canada to the Tlingit Nation, and her son is a senator. So, I mean, we are like rocking it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rocking it sort of thing.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's amazing. I'm surrounded by really an amazing group. So we're not messing around. This is not a messing around thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I pulled a tarot card at the beginning of the show just to kind of see kind of what the energy of.
Hey, you know what? Let's hold on to that tarot card though for a moment. Let's take a commercial break. Oh, okay. And so, we're not going to take a commercial break today. So we can do your card, Jason.
What's funny is on my Skype, I got that message that Cameron sent. I actually read the messages.
Oh. Jason is a little more detail oriented.
That's what happens when you co-host Transformations with Tara Sutphen. It's like or sub-host, I guess.
Yeah,
like I've done.
yeah,
I'm
Jason.
like all set up. I'm in the know.
Yeah, you're in the know. Yeah, Jason was subbing for me while I was in New Zealand and Brazil, and yeah, it's been really awesome. Thanks, Jason, for all that.
Absolutely. I just had Eileen Anglin on my show, Wizard Talk, which I do Thursdays at 3. They're on Blog Talk Radio.
I love her.
I had met her through, hosting your show, and she is just like a fantastic, psychic and angel, and energetic
messenger. She's an angel messenger. Yeah, she's awesome.
Wonderful. You have, you attract like really top people, very, very high vibrational people. It's like, it's wonderful to be able to, just kind of step into your world there and just explore it, and also just be able to kind of bask in the vibe of it, the high vibe of it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I it's all over the world. I have the most holy, the most interesting. I'm really surrounded. It's really wonderful. I'm reading for 6 days. I'm reading for a big guru of the world in September over Labor Day. There's a 6-day retreat, and I'm coming in to personally read him and his followers. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And I'm sure that I can talk about that when it happens. Yes. I don't know if I can invite anyone to that so much as I can talk about it maybe afterwards.
Is it something that you would read individually, or that you would read the group, or both?
No, all of it. Yeah. No, I'll be reading him, and then I'll be reading all his people, and then all the retreat people, and then probably be interacting within the retreat. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there do you feel a difference? Because I've been being asked more and more to do like kind of gallery reads, or where it's instead of a one-on-one, it's like for a group, and it seems daunting to me just to kind of keep all the energy straight, right? And I've been looking at ways of figuring out, how to,
keep the energy straight of what
I'm picking up. So that the message that I deliver is clear,
is to that person. Right.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Okay.
When I'm reading someone, I'm reading through their solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a grid, if it's, but if it's a group, then you have to, you could be, if it's telepathically, you're like picking up all sorts of noises and sounds and people wanting, pick me, because I want to talk to so-and-so. So you get all these different messages, and so it can become very unclear because it's like being in a classroom of kids. So, of second graders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is that, I go into the solar plexus because then I'm reading the person, I'm going in to their personal story. And so there's a whole something that I do when I'm doing that, where I'm reading just only their story and that grid. So if I tune into a certain people that I'm feeling are a little shinier or there's something about them that they need to hear at this time, then that's when, yeah. Or if they ask a question, sometimes it's like, oh, well, that's not really what they need to know. I'm being guided to kind of tell them this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't throw me very much because I think that, the seminar thing has just been my life for so many years that the seminar thing doesn't throw me. I just had to, bring in kind of a formula to make it work for me. So I think that's probably, what to do as well. Because it's clairsentient, audient, voyance, choose one where you're going to start from, Jace. We can talk about that later as well.
Well, I think it's informative for the listeners too, just to kind of tap into the process of how one is psychic, and how one uses their gifts. But I feel that, for myself, I'm so comfortable in a way with the tarot, and maybe that's a telling word, right? Comfortable.
Yes.
Because a lot of psychic work is getting outside of your comfort zone.
Well, yeah, because I'd rather do psychic work and read for somebody than I would to vacuum. But most people would want to vacuum over doing psychic work.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that exactly? Vacuum.
Well, yeah. Well, that doing a mundane, like easy thing over telling somebody something about their life, because they would be responsible for telling somebody maybe something that they would want to convey. But it's not usually like a real negative thing for me to talk to people. It's a real psychological tool. So.
Yeah,
I'll get in a lot of negativity, like Uncle Harry's gonna have an accident, fall off the ladder. That's never been my thing. It's a tool for the individual who I'm reading, and they're gonna have to face whatever it is that I'm coming up with, I guess.
I could see, like, for myself, like in a group setting, like maybe pulling, like focusing in on an individual, pulling a card for them, and that's more of a, quote unquote random process, right? Pulling the card, but usually the card has a very, uncanny way of tapping into someone.
Well, where you're saying that's comfortable is what's happening with you is that's a great starting point, because then the psychic takes over and then you start going. Don't you feel that once you have that starting point, then you're weaving in? Because that same card isn't going to mean the same thing for anybody, for somebody else. It starts to become their card.
Yes.
And what you're seeing and feeling for them. Because you see it, you hear it, you feel it, you know it. That's what I teach. And Jason, when he was first doing psychic work, I mean, he was a very psychic child, but just like all things, you have to practice at it to become good at it. And so Jason became a very prolific reader because I did psychic boot camps. And so Jason came in where 8:00 in the morning till 11:30 at night. I slammed him and 3 other people to learn psychic ability. And so he had a couple of others to work with, and they went back and forth on things. But we did exercise after exercise, and I called it Psychic Boot Camp, and we would do them for 4 or 5 days at a time.
Did you enjoy calling me maggot? Come on, maggot, get on the floor. Give me 20 psychic readings. Psychic boot camp.
Psychic boot camp. I didn't quite do that. It was kind of a build-up process and not a breaking process. But it was a process of that. You were going to do psychic exercises every waking moment except maybe lunch. And even at lunch, we did psychic stuff. We'd talk about it and discuss it, because every exercise out of the book, and then we do it again, and then we do it again, and so it was becoming prolific and proficient at things.
I think that's why I was, like in my 20s, I got my first tarot deck, the Rider-Waite. But it was very stop and start, as far as like the process, because there's 78 cards in the tarot deck. There's,
21 higher arcana, and then you have the court cards.
And the minor arcana. And then you have a lot of different books, that you could pull from as far as looking at meanings and all. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming unless you just dive into it and do something like a boot camp situation where you're in it, and you can't help but everything just start to congeal there, and just repetition, and it just starts to get into your bones there, into your DNA, and so it really kept me on the I guess focused on the path that I was going on. So thank you for the psychic boot camps. When are you doing a boot camp? Are you doing one for the public?
No, I don't do them for the public. If somebody wants one really bad, they can hire me to come into their town. We can go to a hotel if they have kids or something, or too many distractions.
Right.
But, we work the boot camp. Boot camp is, we go right into it. So it's more of a individual thing. It's nice when you have 2 or 3 people who want to do them. That way you have a lot of people to go back and forth with on the readings part of it.
Yeah.
Even if you know them, I'm not like a hard taskmaster, but I'm a very concise, and I don't allow a lot of illusion or disillusion with your psychic ability. I think there's a very fine line between psychic ability and just being kind of crackers. So I think that, we know a lot of quacks in the world on every topic. I'm not going to mince it pretend that there's not a lot of silly things that happen in the world. But, when you come to me to learn to be psychic, I'm teaching you how to be psychic. And when you're being, too woo-woo or wacky. I mean, I have seen people who, and this is close to me, people who don't really take the time to really become psychic, proficient. Really silly things. Like, I'll see triangles all over the room. Okay, well, the room is triangles. There's a triangle skylight. There's a triangle. Every panel in the room is triangle. Like, why would you think you're seeing lit up triangles? I've heard and read some wacky things of people saying things, and it's like, oh God, if the public only knew. Yeah, that's not that's not right to take people off their game or think that you're somebody when you're not. Yeah, it's like, no, it's, we're not going to be right all the time when we're reading other people. For some reason, I get in there and can really read deeply. It's the near-death experiences. Jason too had surgery when he was a baby. So, both Jason and I had these surgeries, but I had 7.5 hour surgery when I was 6 weeks old. Jason was a little bit older, but that's probably where that snaps in. But our brother is pretty psychic too. I used to use him all the time when I was doing written readings. I would say, hey, what do you think about this? And then, Patrick Smith, I used to do the same thing. Our Irish seer friend, who's now on the other side, comes to very often through other people to say hello to me. It's pretty funny because, I'm so out there in the psychic world that it's fun that, talking about like Jackie. Yeah. Jackie and all his other friends, Lily.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I one thing that I did learn from you too, but it's also, it might be kind of our DNA, as just a family thing too. It's like, and something I try to impart upon the students that I have is, when you are reading, it's like, why are you a reader? Are you, looking to help someone, move through a problematic time in their life? It's like, why are you offering your service? Why are you sharing this gift with others? So, the person who is just kind of like, I just love the word that you use, crackers, who's just like, just seeing bright lights and fairies and colors and, just stuff like that. Is there a, something that can be gleaned from that, some meaningful message that another person can, take that and use it as like a catalytic type of
tool
to move forward in their life.
Yeah.
So it's important to know why it is that you want to be a reader or a guide or, for yourself, so that you're not just seeing a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah. And nobody else gets to see that cool stuff with you sometimes, but that fairy stuff and the colors and different things, that's what I call symbolic metaphor. And so I teach people how to read shamanically at that point. See, those are shamanic metaphors. Not to say that isn't a wrong way. We have dreams every night where we are seeing in shamanic, we're seeing, feeling, hearing, and kind of that knowing of the dream of experiencing shamanic metaphor. And if we start deciphering our dreams, then we start to see patterns in our life. And a lot of times that's how people are truly psychic, is when they follow their symbolic dreams. Because, you can dream about the silliest and weirdest stuff, but usually those are messages. You can get way too into it, of course, and be your whole life is deciphering a dream. But if you do it in a, where it's going to help you, sort of therapy, that is a journaling process, then I would say, go for it. But a lot of times, like in the psychic seminars, you can get in your way if you're being too precise or seeing things in manifest form. You just don't feel like your feet are getting off the ground because you're like making it up as you go along. And a lot of times you will feel like you're making it up, but that you're making it up, and it's what you want to happen instead of what's actually going to happen. You're not allowing the process. So sometimes you have to get out of your own way to learn how to symbolically read, so that way you know that when something is coming up, that you know what's kind of going to happen for you. I mean, so there's all sorts of things and tools to get out of your way when you're reading psychically. So the fairies and the colors and the different, fun things that are happening in somebody's sight is not necessarily a bad thing at all in my mind. Yeah.
Right. It's how it's interpreted to help someone be able to move forward.
Yes. Yeah. And then they might, it might be like a fairy card reader, and that's how they like to convey information to you.
Right.
Whether that seems like fluff or it's real things coming towards you and to listen up. I mean, it depends. We all need a balance of happiness and serious moments in our life. And, the messages can be conveyed to us. We're always warned on some level of things that are going to happen. And, we just, a lot of times in our Western world, especially, don't tap into those warning signs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the card that I picked at the beginning before I called in there was the Seven of Cups, the card of hopes, of dreams. I like to see it as a card of ambition when it comes up. Like in my deck, it's like the person, and when I say my deck, I read from the Wizard's Tarot, which is an incredible deck. I mean, it's really quite beautiful, but it has some, especially in the minor arcana, it has images that are similar to the Rider-Waite. But how this one differs is that the person is kind of very, very connected to what it is that they're hoping for in their life. But I guess the danger of the card or whatever, we have our heart set on is that, just how we go about implementing it, how we go about manifesting. Do we look for having all of the things in life just kind of all at once, or are we willing to build towards getting that which we want in life? And what's represented is just kind of like the highs and lows of like all the aspects of our life, where it's like just a rich, full life. And it's like, are we looking for it kind of all at once? Are we looking to, just move towards it and enjoy the process of attainment, of, being in a heart-centered place about it, where we actually love what it is that we're working towards.
Nice. Well, and I know that we both are on that journey of loving what we're working towards. Mm-hmm. It's been a really fun. And, Jason, we're both, from a line of intuitives and ministers and people who married people and counseled people in their lives. And, that Jason's in my life as well. And our mom's a nurse.
Yeah, healers.
Yeah, healers.
Yeah. Not only is she a nurse, but an intuitive as well. I mean, she just, is working with a woman who crossed over, and so she's done like the hospice type of work for many, many years, and she's like making sure that people are in a place of comfort, in a place of willing to let go when it's time to let go. And it can be really quite beautiful work in that respect too. So,
Yeah.
it's deep. It's deep stuff. I am so, grateful to be able to, be more involved on a one-to-one basis with individuals these days.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great work. Yeah. So you're at Muddy Paws
On
on
Sunday,
Sunday, and
Muddy Paws Coffee.
yeah, and I want everybody to be able to find you, Jason. So it's jasondmckean.com. It's JASONDMCKEAN.com, or you can find him at ohmdogom.com, where we have some more of CDs and MP3s.
Absolutely. My albums, they're all on iTunes, Amazon. I just put up the on my contact page at jasondmckean.com all of my social media contacts, like Instagram and Periscope and Twitter, and there's like 2 or 3 Facebook places too. So it's like that was quite a job, like just programming all that, getting all that together. It's just like, wow. It's like, but it's all there. It's all there. And I'm really good on Facebook, as far as like, responding to people and talking and all that, posting photos of me, my wife, my dogs, Archie and Ananda. It's, we have a really great, time just creating images and, playing with the wizard persona there. It's a lot of fun. So come
I
check
have
it
a
out.
funny Periscope story. I went into Periscope to look at it. I've had it actually on my phone for a long time, but I've never used it. And I went into one of the stories of this guy who's driving around in Ireland. He's some kind of a delivery guy. And this other person, 54 people were following him on this drive, and because they're little movies. And he was, and somebody said to him, some guy said, "Oh, well, my mom lives in that town. Would you stop in to say hi to her?" And I was like, really? A strange man coming to the drive. Is she going to get an umbrella out and, whack you on the head because you're a stranger? Sure, I'm coming to say hi for your son. So I started to say funny things, just, funny, weird things, because you can type to people.
Yeah.
And, we were laughing, everybody was like laughing about like what I was saying, in conjunction with this guy. And, it was funny because, we all followed, like there was those 54 people, but everybody started following each other on Instagram and, Twitter, it all became a whole different thing, which I thought was so funny that just because, we were joking around and laughing that I asked, well, what's your Instagram and your, Twitter name, because we'll all follow you, and then everybody followed each other. It was like a whole, I had 54 people come in all at once. I thought it was funny.
So you became like this new family, but
Yeah.
I love how it's a positive exchange,
Yeah,
using it for a building community.
Yeah, so much fun.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'm going off in a couple minutes. I'm going to go off to see one of my Alaska pipeline friends. So
talk about the old days of
the old
drilling
days
for oil up there. Brutal.
Yeah, there we go. All those old, drilling for oil stories. Yeah, and she still works up there, I think. I'll get the whole skinny.
Yeah.
But she lives in Arizona and up here, and she's up here right now, so we're gonna yak it up.
Well, thank you for letting me talk about my new albums, and have a great time. Have a safe time, and stay cool.
Yes, Thank you. And
I love you.
Some family time tomorrow night with all of my family up here as well. Yes, I love you very much.
I love you too.
Okay. Blessings, everybody. Lots of love.
Thank you for sharing your time with Tara Sutphen. Find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams by visiting her website at tarasutphen.com.